Hey everyone, this is Scott from Forgot to Grow. Well, welcome to our Snowpiercer Season 1 Episode 4 Thoughts video. I just finished watching the latest episode of Snowpiercer and I'm just going to be sharing my general thoughts on the episode. In this episode, we see them tracking down the murderer who we discovered last episode was the bodyguard of one of the first class families. So this episode was kind of interesting to see us kind of diving a little bit more into us knowing who the murderer was, but Leighton and them not being 100% sure, and them trying to put all the puzzle pieces together. This is also Leighton's first trip to first class in this show so far, and I believe in his life. This was interesting because you see this immediate kind of apprehension, and he goes in with this attitude that him and Melanie discussed as being the worst nightmare of the first class families. And so I really enjoyed that, seeing this, him walking in just not giving a shit, starts eating their food and all this stuff and not showing them any respect whatsoever, as he should, because they don't deserve any respect whatsoever for just being a bunch of rich pompous assholes. So I really enjoyed this episode, seeing them kind of finally putting together the pieces about the bodyguard, tying it into the girl who, so again, spoilers for this episode, but tying it into the girl who the bodyguard is family for, and tying it to the fact that she was just murdering these men just to try and feel something, as rich people tend to do often in stories. And so this was just a really fun episode to kind of just see kind of Leighton and Melanie's kind of dynamic through this episode. I really enjoyed, and then just seeing kind of Leighton's skills at being able to withdraw this information from somebody who thinks that they're holding all the cards, and eventually at the end Leighton kind of like, no you don't, I took all your cards. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And then we also spend the other part of the episode in the subplot with Josie from the Tail and the Tail members who got a pass last episode from Leighton, and they're starting to implement their plan of trying to infiltrate and make it their way up the train. So I really enjoyed that aspect too. Built a lot of suspense around it. Obviously, I was pretty certain she wasn't going to get caught, but I do like that bit of suspense that they threw in there with that, and this side kind of story of the Tail, which I'm guessing is going to be shifting to the main story we're going to be following, or the main characters will be following for at least an episode or two, or at least for a part of next episode, I should say, because just the way this episode ends, again, spoiler for the episode, we see that they do get a message in the Tail finding out that Leighton's missing, because we discover at the end of the episode that Melanie has never planned on letting Leighton go back to the Tail, having discovered too much information during his investigation, which makes sense. I was curious what her plan was with that. I knew it wasn't going to just let him go back to the Tail willy-nilly, but I did not expect her to do what she did, which was put him in the drawers. So the way this episode ends, I was just very fascinated. It almost feels like a season cliffhanger, but luckily it's just an episode cliffhanger, where we leave off with Leighton in the drawers, Josie in the back just finding out that he's missing, and Melanie just being like, yeah, everything's back to normal and I'm still in charge. So I've just really enjoyed the way this episode went and just ended. Another part that was really interesting was during the end, when Melanie's kind of tricking Leighton into being drugged and then put into the drawers, that I'm pretty sure she says, like, Leighton, I know you know. And he's like, yeah. So it seems that Leighton does know Melanie's secret, that she's actually Wilfred, and that she's, pretending not to be him and putting on this show for everybody. So I really enjoyed that little bit, and the fact that, that probably obviously is part of the influences to why she can't just let him go back to the Tail and re-spark this revolution that he had just come from at the beginning of the season. So I just really enjoyed this episode overall. I thought it was a really well done one, investigating them tracking down the bodyguard murderer, while also learning more about the motives going into it. And we'll also just see Leighton kind of brush up against first class a lot more. So yeah, I really enjoyed this episode, and I'm excited to see where we go from here. Again, I'm pretty sure it'll be following Josie and other tailies trying to get Leighton out of the drawers. I imagine is our next storyline we'll be following. So I'm excited to get to that, or whatever they end up doing in the next episode. I'm just excited. But what did you guys think of this latest episode? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and have a good one.